a Fenway home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox nation, it's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yawkey Way. That's when Red Sox nation starts to rock. I'm a member of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of a fan.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 57 of the Avid Boston Podcast, presented by AVIDBOSTON.com. If you are staying up late with us on Periscope, the podcast will be uploaded to SoundCloud within 30 minutes of the conclusion of this broadcast and will be available on iTunes by your AM commute. At the top of this video window, there'll be a link that will take you to the podcast section of avidboston.com, and you can find the links to both of those apps on there. You can also find the podcast on Spreaker, FM Player, iHeartRadio, and probably a bunch of other places that, you know, my iTunes and SoundCloud upload them to automatically. Oh, YouTube is a new one. I found that out recently. We're on YouTube. It breaks it up into like 7 parts or like 20 if we go 2 hours. But it's just another place that just kind of pops up. So we're pretty much everywhere. Red Sox wrapped up a 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners, who are considered right now to be a potential wild card team. So we don't know if what we saw was a preview of the wild card game, or hopefully the Yankees will play that game instead of us. So anyway, I'm Terry Cushman, joined as always by my co-host Dave Kwiatkowski. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing good, Terry. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So wasn't pretty necessarily, but we'll take 2 out of 3.
We'll always take 2 out of 3, especially, in game 1 when you win a pitcher's duel, the way the Red Sox were at, in a real great matchup of starting pitching, where the Red Sox ended up winning the game 14-10, as the starters gave up a combined 16 runs, and the Red Sox battled back from being down, I believe, 4 and 5 to kind of start the game. So they took game 1. In game 2, we got smacked around. Erod had his worst start in 2 months, as he gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, and Velasquez came out and didn't stop the bleeding as well. And then today we had one of Chris Sale's, another one of his amazing starts, 7 innings, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk. The bullpen was perfect. Matt Barnes picked up the save today. Well, not the save, but picked up the hold at the end of the game, and we took 2 out of 3.
Yes, we did. And if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Wright gave up all 10 of those runs, didn't he?
All 10.
When was the last time that happened? When was the last time we won a game where our starter gave up 10 runs? I bet you have to go back decades.
Maybe never.
Maybe never. Absolutely.
As a starter giving up 10 earned runs, they were all 10 his runs. And his ERA jumped up to 3.38, which is still a great ERA. But, the Red Sox, I think the biggest thing for me this weekend was shout out to the bullpen, who was perfect minus Hector Velasquez yesterday. Other than that, the bullpen did not give up a run in game 1 or game 3. And in game 2, after Velasquez came in, he gave up 2, and then Workman and Hembree gave up none.
That's encouraging, yeah. Especially, we don't really know what we have with Workman yet, and the hope with Hembree is always that he'll trend upward, and he has shown potential at times. So, and I would say he's having a better year this year than
he's had
previously. Yeah,
it was scary when he's out there. I'm never the most confident person in the world, unless it's Kelly or Kimbrel. But the bullpen just continues to not really be an issue. Velasquez has been a little hit or miss recently, but he's also a long reliever who's not someone that we would want to see in the playoffs anyway. So that doesn't really bother me too much if he struggles every once in a while.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if he, goes on a tear where he's, just lights out as well. So, also joining us on episode 57, as he often does, probably be seeing him a lot during the month of July. He is one half of the Double Coverage podcast, which can be found on iTunes and on Twitter at Cap Hartsfield. Austin Hartsfield, how are you?
I'm encouraged.
You're encouraged?
Wow, Austin's so smart, these fancy words.
Yeah.
Anomaly. I was gonna throw out anomaly here in a second. I had it lined up. Scrabble champion. I'm just telling y'all right now.
Someone's crushing life tonight down there in southern Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Yankees probably aren't encouraged right now.
The Yankees suck. Not really, but for the last 3 days, I've enjoyed pure happiness watching them lose to a triple-A team. It's been awful.
It's not good for the Yankees who have these games on the Red Sox, which obviously they do. They're in first place, percentage points, all that fun stuff. But when you have games in hand on a team, you don't want to get swept by, an under 500 team while the team you're up against is winning 2 out of 3. Not good math there for the Yankees, as they are eventually going to run out of these games in hand.
Yeah, eventually.
And I just wonder if, if they do start dropping some games here and there, if the urgency to make the upgrades that they've been rumored to make will intensify.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I mean, you think, what do they need? They need pitching. They need starting pitching. I mean, I think their bullpen's good enough. Obviously, when Betances is on, it just makes it just nasty in there. And after Severino, there's no one that trusts in the playoffs. You have CeCe, who's been good this year, again, overperforming again as he gets older. But after that, Sonny Gray is hit or miss, and then their depth is young and inexperienced, or Tanaka, who's just, I think he's kind of, at the end of his career. So,
yeah, or he's going to have some major, work done depending on what's bothering him. Right now, it's lower body, I believe. So that's new, compared to what he's gone through.
Yeah,
not a good month for Japanese baseball.
No, it's been a rough couple weeks for them.
Absolutely. Getting back to the series, we're not going to freak out over Wright giving up. Having probably one of the worst starts of his career, really. But should the struggles continue a little, does that kind of open it back up for Austin's favorite starting pitcher?
No.
Drew Pomerantz for the listening audience.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Wright is going to have those stinkers every once in a while. I don't think he'll have 10-run stinkers, but he's going to have games where he goes 4 innings, giving up 5 or 6 runs, and it's going to be one of those throwaway starts where, it just happens. But I will take 5 good starts in a row for 1 bad one, just like with Erod, who's been 2 months. He's been good to great, and then has a bad start. I'm okay with it. And I don't think Drew Pomerantz pitches again for the Red Sox this season.
Well, we get ugly. Oh yes, that's what I like to hear. We get bad starts from Porcello and Sale too. So it's everybody has one bad game, especially when you have a knuckleball. It's going to be magnified and basically blown up. Honestly. Yeah,
that's exactly it. People just start to get trust issues a little quicker where he is a knuckleballer. But I like Wright, but I'm kind of far from you guys to where I do kind of like him in the bullpen. But as David said, the bullpen did come off of a pretty good series, so we'll see where that goes. Still, another few days gone by, we don't know if Thornburg's a real person, but eventually
he's not. Believe it.
Eventually, he's maybe, what's the term, catfished? You know, maybe.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got catfish.
Yeah.
We got cat.
We got catfish.
Yeah. Dombrowski.
We sent them Travis Shaw, and they sent us a ghost.
Yeah.
Yep. More or less.
That's a good way to put it. Getting into game 2, though, you were just kind of touching on Erod. I'm a little concerned, though, about his inefficiency because he has to rein that in. If he doesn't rein that in, his arm's going to fall off by middle of August. And I think that's kind of what we saw the other night, like constantly pitching 100 to 110 pitches by the end of the 5th inning. And I think he's getting a little tired and maybe his focus is kind of waning a little bit. And, you know, I don't know if maybe they should skip a start to allow him to work on some stuff. I just don't think he can keep this up. And I love Erod, and I want to see him rein it in and continually go 6 and a third, 2/3, 7 innings, what have you. But if he doesn't rein that in, I just feel like we're going to see more starts like what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think for him it goes down to Cora and using the bullpen. I think Cora's been really good with Erod this year. I think there has been a few times been 107, 108 pitches, but for the most part, especially the first month and a half, they kept him around 100 pitches, and I don't think he'll go deep into games, which is fine. We know that when Erod comes in, we're assuming 5, 6 is like amazing for him. So I think you could see a skip start, but at the same time, I mean, he hasn't shown any dip in his career numbers or his velocity or anything like that. I mean, if you look at his past numbers in the past year or whatever, he has almost identical numbers to James Paxton, who is considered one of the best left-handed aces in the American League the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So you look at that and you say, wow, that guy is Erod? No way. Besides the innings pitched, which is pretty close, it's actually not that far off, they're almost identical. So he's doing really well. He's right in line with his career when it comes to average and whip. He is on his career average for whip, and he's one under his career average for his, average against the batters. So he's pitching really, really well. And when it comes to him, the longevity of it, I think Cora's doing a good job with it. If it was John Farrell, I would definitely say we need to skip a start. His arm's going to fall off because he would have him throw 120 pitches every single start no matter what to try and get him into the 6th inning. So right now I'm not too concerned. Obviously, if, he comes out in the next 2 or 3 starts and pitches like this, maybe he needs to skip. Maybe Drew Pomeranz comes back. Probably not. But, it's definitely a thought, though.
The good news is his next start's in the Bronx, and we all know his career numbers against the Yankees are pretty damn good.
Yeah, especially in New York. He loves being there. Yeah. He loves the big game. So that'll be a good thing for him in a lot of ways. You get to see a bounce back because shitty start, now, and he gets to bounce back at it. We get to see how he does in a big divisional race. I mean, considering that, we could be 3 games out, 4 games out, or a game ahead by the time that series ends. So, it'll be a big time for Erod. And the Erod haters out there that don't like him because he throws a lot of pitches and sometimes doesn't get through the 6th inning.
How can you hate Erod? I don't understand. There's so many more hateable pitchers on this staff.
It's because he throws a lot of pitches, and we gave up Andrew Miller. And I mean,
they all give up 20 pitches in the 1st inning. Let's be real here. When Sale went 10 today, I about jumped out of my shorts.
Yeah, they do get a lot in the beginnings, and Sale had another amazing game today that we finally got him some run support, which was very.
It took a minute.
Yeah, it took a little bit to the end. Moreland started heating up again as the lineup kind of came back alive this weekend. Well, yeah, this weekend.
I saw a tweet. I don't know if it was Carabas or just a random tweet, but they said, how does Wright give up 10 earned runs, get a no decision, yet Sale only gives up 1 run and takes the loss?
Yeah, it was Carabas.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Brutal.
That was
brutal.
fitting, and so it's nice to see him get a little bit of support today.